Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers, including Peter Berryman, John Robertson, Brandon Trano, and IndyCar World Champion Alex Palou. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome along to the SRF Weekend Warriors presented by RaceVoice for Week 11 and the penultimate round of the championship as we've returned to Australia for the final time this season to the technical but free-flowing Phillip Island. Motorsport's been synonymous with Phillip Island since 1928 when British driver ACR White raced in his Austin 7 to victory in the very first Australian Grand Prix. Since then, the circuit has had a rather turbulent history. However, Phillip Island is once again at the forefront of Australian motor racing thanks to an extensive rebuild, bringing it up to international standards. I'm Tim Cox. We've got Jonathan Growski in the production booth, but as always, I'm joined by my usual Weekend Warriors partner in crime, Adam Hadfield. Adam, welcome along. Of course, last time we were in Australia 3 rounds ago at Oran Park. It's similar in some ways in terms of the amount of corners, but it's a lot more free flowing, and I'm sure we're going to see plenty of overtaking action here today. I'm sorry, a few technical difficulties there. So obviously we're, as mentioned, at Phillip Island, and wow, what can we say about this circuit? It's an absolute classic for the Weekend Warriors once more. As mentioned, plenty of overtaking opportunities as someone exiting stage right there in the background. Didn't quite catch who that was. And once again, wow, what can we say? Aeronom not on top, and as it stands with qualifying coming right to an end now, looking like he's going to start on the second row of the grid with Yang Jilin. A bit more of a return to form on the front row, under attempt separating himself and pole sitter Austin winner. Interesting to see if someone can break the Estonians' dominance on this championship. He's definitely been the man in form for the course of this season and last season as well. He's looking for a record equaling 5th championship win. And well, he's definitely already pretty much there. And talking of which, let's just take you through the championship standings. So in Spec 1, first of all, we've got Aerodom, as I mentioned. 7 wins to his name this season from 11 rounds. such a dominant and asserting force on this championship. Austin Winner, he's in second place with 1 victory to his name. Some whopping 256 points behind Nom. He's obviously taken the championship already. Yogamani, he's had a cracking season. He's in third with Yangji Lin in fourth place. Mirashek in fifth. Botman, after what was a strong start to the season, has been slowly tailing away and finds himself now down in sixth place. Arabian 7th, West 8th, Dantas 9th, and Naselli in 10th place. Let's head across to Spec 2, where Alan McCain, who's been Mr. Consistent this season, and with 2 victories to his name, currently only 12 points separating himself and Favini at the top of the championship. Well, and Green as well, who's tied on points with Favini right now in a joint second place. Andalo, he's in fourth with Gibson 5th, Jackson 6th, Gary Walbot in 7th, Butenga 8th, Flores 9th, and Kirk Broadhurst rounding out your top 10. Crossing to Masters, well, he's with man in form last season, really came alive and grew into the championship last season, and has carried on that rich vein of form for this year. So this season, it's Chris Murakami with 5 victories in Masters to his name this season. A great drive from him once more. Brewster, he is in second place. Tom Gradwell in third. Bob Kern, he's up 1 place into fourth. And Cantor, he's had a cracking last couple of rounds. Only 32 points behind Kern into 5th place. Bradshaw, he's dropped down 2 places into 6th. Stevie Ray in 7th. Antonio Rice, always good in qualifying. And once more has had a cracking qualifying session here at Phillip Island. He's 8th in the championship with Love and Kenneth Batley rounding out your Masters standings. And Adam, I think you've overcome your slight technical difficulties there and ready to join us now. So saying it's definitely a a circuit that allows for more overtakes compared to last time we were in Australia at Oran Park.
Yep. Hello everyone. Nice to be joining you all again. It's a very different circuit, isn't it? Oran Park, that tight, twisty layout, thin, narrow circuit, overtaking not the easiest of things to do. Here I'm expecting trains of cars for the entire night, 40 minutes of flat-out racing, bumper to bumper. What we love to see in these cars.
It is indeed. And as always, this series is sponsored by RaceVoice. If you're looking for a simple way to transform complicated performance data into easy to understand voice notifications and alerts, they have over 16 different notifications, including up and down shift, over rev alerts, want entry, turn in and exit speeds. It provides immediate feedback on driver and vehicle performance. So you just see series organizer Stevie Ray there. Just coming around the circuit out of turn 2 onto the more free-flowing part. And this is where, I think from this point onwards, this is where it gets quite tricky, this circuit. Well, at least I find this anyway, Adam. Through this right-hander here that's Honda, and then into Siberia, the immediate left-hander after it. If we're so patient, and it's so easy to, especially when you're battling with someone, to overcook it and push that little bit too hard and get onto the accelerator too early, which then means you have to inevitably get out of it and then lose momentum through this next section of the circuit through turn 7 all the way pretty much up to MG, which is turn 10.
Siberia turn 6 is a personal nemesis, I've got to say. I've driven this circuit in dozens of different cars. Finding the line through there, you never know whether to go in early, go in late, try and get that better exit. It's a tricky one. It shouldn't be on the face of it. It's just a simple enough hairpin, but loads of time to be won and lost in that section. I think also on the entry there's that little bit of a kink. There are a couple of kinks through 7 and 8 as well. So drivers going side by side through these sections, it's easy to lose track of your opponent and get caught up in a little bit of an incident. So certainly an area of the track to watch out for tonight.
I mean, I'd never driven this circuit before, probably about a year ago actually, when friends were like, "Oh, it's amazing to drive and really good fun," and took the plunge as you do, and it's now become one of my favourite circuits. It's great fun, and And it's a really enjoyable circuit to drive, but also you can race on it, unlike Hungaroring, which is great fun to hot lap on, but awful for overtaking. Same at Barber Motorsport Park, another circuit very similar to that. Whereas this one somehow seems to mesh both great fun to drive and have overtaking opportunities as well. And I'm sure as well, as we've done so much seen so often this season where we said they can't overtake there, they won't, you know, you can't overtake around, especially where we said you can't overtake around the outside, and drivers have quite often defied that logic and pulled off some spectacular moves, and I'm sure we're going to see exactly the same here today.
Yeah, no reason not to see overtaking at almost every corner on this track. As we said, it's a draft-heavy track, so cars are always going to be nose to tail. So a slight deviation from the racing line, a slight mistake, and someone's going to stick their nose in on you. So yeah, definitely the entire track is one big overtaking opportunity for tonight, which is what we like to see, obviously, as we sort of come to the end of term as it was. 11 rounds out of 12 in the books now, or about to be in the books.
I can't quite believe where the season has gone. It's absolutely flown by once again, and wow. We say about this championship, it's definitely delivered on excitement and action yet again. And also, if you want to stay up to date with everything that we're doing here, Apex Racing TV, our socials, we are on Twitter at Apex Racing TV. Facebook is facebook.com/Apex Racing TV, and Instagram, oh, funnily enough, that's Apex Racing TV, as the cars just start to take to the grid and form up behind the Porsche 911 safety car. As always, for the rolling start, your pole sitter is Austin, winner with Yang Lin. The first time those two have been on the front row together in quite a while. I think that stretches back a few seasons. Aeronom, our current, reigning champion, and will be champion again for this season in Spec 1 and overall. He is starting from the second row with his, could say one of his arch nemesis, his Nemesi, Naselli on the second row of the grid. Chris Murakami, great qualifying from the leader in the Masters category, getting up onto the third row with Peter Miroshek for company. Antonio Rice, always a strong qualifier, although doesn't always have the best luck in opening laps. He's on the fourth row with Thomas Renders. Bobby West and Viger are on the fifth row of the grid with Steve Alson and Evandro Dantas making up your sixth row. Then we've got Butenga and Simon Mayer, probably a little bit further down than where we normally expect to see him. Likewise with Jorg Marni, who's had some really strong performances this season. He's qualified in 15th, and he's got Kurt Nunez lining up alongside him. Jason Perry, he's got Joost Simpkins on the ninth row with Alan McCain, and Michael Nelson making up your 10th row of the grid. Sancinelli, another driver, maybe expect to see a little bit higher up the grid. He's got Andrew Liv with him for company, and it's Bradshaw and Jason Green in 23rd and 24th. Series organizer Stevie Ray, he's got Vaccaro in the All-American row there with Ian Gibson and Trespedini. It's in 29th to 28th with Flores and Jackson making up your top 30. Then it's Flavio and Darlow, a driver a little bit further down the grid when we normally expect to see him. Watch for him coming through the field. He's got Bob Kern with him. Then Nick Carty and Jeff Cantor. James Lopez and Bruno Conti taking you up to 36th place with Gary Walbolt. Mongion, Batley and Samuel Dick rounding out your field here at round 11 at Phillip Island, as the cars just take around their full lap behind the safety car, so that'll take a little while to get around here. And Adam, we've seen before in this championship that we've all had action before they've even got across the start line.
Yeah, remembering back to first two rounds, we didn't even make it to the line at Lime Rock Park, did we? These guys have got a long way to go around this lap. It's one of the early tracks in iRacing, one of the first release circuits. So we have the with the full lap of roll up. More modern tracks tend to shortcut the circuit at some point, start them sort of halfway round on a back straight somewhere. But it gives us a chance just to watch them as they form up, take in the full 40-car grid. I appreciate all these guys and all the liveries they've spent their time and their weekends designing.
And of course, pit strategy, I think once again it's going to form part of this, as it so often does, because you mentioned earlier 40 minutes of racing, and the drivers will need to head in for at least one fuel stop. And It's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out as I'm going to watch the safety car pull in and Winner really backing up the pack here. Everyone's starting to really compress up and he's going to leave it late as he comes out through turn 12 and we get ready to go racing in the SRF Weekend Warriors for round 11 from Phillip Island, and already they're in one long snake, and here comes the Aero Nom making a big effort to try and get the lead already in these early stages. Gets an absolutely blinding run. Oh, there's contact in the background. Mirashek and Murakami come together on the entrance into turn 1. Duhan corner, and wow, Mirashek is, well, miles off the track there. That's going to take a while to recover as they come round the southern loop. Turn 2 for the first time. Nom leading from Winner, and Lin in third. Niselli, Murakami, Rice, Renders, Western, Dantas, Viger making up your top 10 as they come down to Honda, the big braking area, the first big brake area on the circuit. Just making it through and following through in a rather orderly fashion, might I say that. Just as we witness Butenga and Simpkins there just side by side, and a bit of contact and a couple of spinners in the background there.
Was that Arabian around, possibly, at the back there? A few cars out on turn 4, just travelling around the gravel trap as we switch to a replay. This is Mirashek and Murakami. This is meant to be a straight line, boys, and a flat-out first turn, so I'm not sure how you've come together.
Let's find out. Oh, not conclusive. Murakami was heading for that inside line and just seemed to clip Mirashek there. And
Yeah,
for
I think it was a bit of a late move from Mirashek, wasn't it? He should have defended earlier than that if he wanted to shut the door on him.
As the drivers just come around now on through turn 11 and 12. To complete their first lap here at Phillip Island, and Winner is just gonna nick first place off Aero Nom on the run into turn 1. Slipstream out of turn 12 and down the start finish straight into Duhan corner. It's just so powerful, and Austin Winner showcasing it there to great effect.
Yeah, I was going to mention off the start, I didn't think it was the best idea from Austin to go as early as he did. It gave Nom a full-on slipstream all the way down the main straight, but I think we've just seen in evidence there. Every lap we're likely to probably see a switch and change down there because the draft is so powerful and the straight's so long on this circuit.
Lin in third place, just trying to find a way past Aero Nom. As into a replay, let's take a little look at what's happened to Jason Perry. Oh, you see a bit of contact there, and that's he did head to the pits, and it's put him around about half a lap behind everyone now, and not the start that Perry was hoping for.
He was the third car on the outside there, wasn't he? Got a little bit knocked around, a couple of cars on the inside making contact, and he's the unfortunate one who bought it. Spun round and into the pits now. We'll see if he can make some kind of a recovery, but obviously he'll have lost any sort of connection with the lead pack.
He will have, although still everything to play for. Only 3 minutes out of 40 completed here, and just coming round on to the second lap. As you can see, this breakaway group starting to form at the front as Yang Jilin lifts the mountain attack on Aero Nom, and possibly even Austin Winner for the double overtake down the start-finish straight. Wow, what a great move there by the Chinese driver.
Yep, I don't know if it's already going to be in any of these drivers' heads, but when we get to the last lap and we're chasing down the finish line, what position are you going to want to be in? Because if you've got the draft, you'll probably be passed by the time they come to the line. So it's something, I know it's only early in the race, but it's something that these guys want to be considering. They might be checking it out now. How close can they be, or how far back can they come from and still make the overtake?
That's really interesting point that there, Adam. As you see, it's breakaway group starting to get slowed up a little bit as Winner's trying to find some grip around the outside there and not able to get the move done. He's had to back in behind Yang Jilin. You see these two starting to put a little bit of time over Nom, but don't discredit him. He'll be still along for the fight every step of the way as we look back from Lynn right now. It's a stream of cars following through as they come through Lukey Heights down to MG. Bit of a tricky corner this. I find you have to take quite a late apex there, Adam.
See, I'm going to disagree with you. I find that an early apex works in there, trying to get the nose in as it's downhill, and it washes out a little bit. not to contradict you entirely, but that's why this.
That's well, just sorry to cut across. Just out, Steve Elson going for a bit of a wild ride there out of turn 11, out onto the grass. He's somehow managed to keep hold of it though, and wow, amazingly kept hold of that position, and thanks to the draft, I think that's playing a large part of it. But he's got Vandre Dantas now right onto the back of him. Cillian just having a bit of a look into turn 1 there before he has to back out of it once more. And it's hard to know where to look. There's so many close battles in these early stages of the race.
Yeah, just looking at the timing tower on the left, I think you've got up until 15th place all in that lead battle. There's no gaps bigger than a second between 1st and 15th. Finkin at the back. And then Marnie just a little bit further away, 7-8 seconds off the lead. That's kind of your first gap, and he looks to be not really on his own, but trying to break away from the guys behind and maybe tow back onto the back of the front 15. Marnie, one of the drivers who we saw get caught up with Perry earlier on the opening lap.
Of course, last time we saw the car just behind him, Alan McCain taking victory in class, the Spec 2 category last time out. And interestingly, Aaron Nom, his teammate, seemed more excited about McCain's victory than he did his own.
Yeah, absolutely cool as a cucumber, wasn't he, in the box? Knew that he could take another victory. More excited for his team ultimately, I guess.
As you just see Stevie Ray making up a place there, that gets him past Nick Carty. And that gaggle of Americans there all scrapping it out. That's, say, all the way down the field. That's all over 29th, sorry, 28, 29th place right now.
Yeah, Stevie Ray's had a little bit of a bad start, hasn't he? Qualified 25th, dropped down into the 30s, so whether he just got shuffled at this opening lap.
Right, yeah, I think he may have had an off track from memory. It was all a bit hairy in the midfield, wasn't it? They came into Honda for the first time, and you see once more just getting a little bit squirrely on the exit there. There's Ray, and he's going to be under attack into turn 1. Well, even before then, from the number 27 of Nick Carty heading to the inside, just nick that place off Ray, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of that, and throughout the whole race as well. We see it all happening up the front as the Selly. Oh, that's going to promote Murray. Oh! Wow. It's happening here. It's all not the best of, well, the second rejoice, second bite of the cherry there from the Selly was almost as, well, hair-raising as the first one.
Yeah, it doesn't look to have suffered any damage, though. He might have got away with that one. Not sure who it was who clipped him as he tried his first rejoin. So he was making the move on Murakami. That's how he came unseated there. As we flick to the replay, let's have a look at it.
So I think he lost it all by himself here, Adam. There you go, runs it in too deep, and well, Murakami was very, very lucky. Oh, and there's a secondary contact with, I think that was Johan Botenga that he came into contact with. So he's coming round. Yeah, there he is, the 664 Spec Racer. Now in the hunt at the back of this train. Looking up behind Dantas is Antonio Rice, looking for the move. He's headed up into the lead in Masters. Do you see Murakami there? He's dropped a couple of places. He was in 4th and he's down to 6th now. So we come up to a quarter of the race completed. Winner is currently in the lead from Yang Ji Lin. Nom in 3rd. Antonio Rice. Normally doesn't have the best luck. It's all going his way at the moment. Currently 4th overall, a leader in Masters. West in 5th. Murakami 2nd in Masters, 6th overall. Renders, Weiger, Elson and Mayer. Oh, is that a change for the lead? I'm screwing up my eyes and squinting. It's just see it at the distance.
No.
Big contact and a big incident down to Honda there. And you can see Weiger's involved. I think Bradshaw was caught up in it as well. Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
4 or 5 cars in there, full domino effect.
Elson, well, you can see just how badly. I don't think there's he's come off in that. I don't think there's one straight body panel left on his car, as he's definitely going slow, clearly carrying damage. And well, that's really shuffled things up in the midfield. And Murakami, when the car's caught up in it, he's dropped down to 12th overall. As we see here, we look at Murakami. Oh, and there's a big lock. Wow, this car's going.
It's an accident behind them, isn't it?
Yeah, they're driving backwards into the corner. Wow.
I mean, Murakami and West certainly got together a little bit, but nothing that wouldn't have caused that kind of an accident. It was the drivers arriving backwards from out of shot that caused that one, I think.
Oh, well, it's been going on. Aeronaut's taken a chance to seize the lead. He's ended up into first place. He'll come across the start-finish lane. Let's take a look. So this is Simon Mayer here, and it was definitely a yellow car that arrived backwards. Oh, contact from Dantas from behind, and that's what started off the apparently it was like the bowling ball, and all the cars in front of him were just the pins, and it's like he was heading for a strike.
Yeah, Dantas bowled Mayer into the rest of them, didn't he?
Take a look. So this is a nice little overtaking move from Dantas there. We knew it'd be tight and it'd be, well, treacherous at times, and again just proving how competitive these drivers are. So on board with Dantas. So this is them coming out of the final corner. We're going to get a real good indication of what the slipstream is like here. We're going to see him head round turn 1. Dantas just backing out to keep himself where he was in that stable position, which is interesting. I mean, I'm assuming he must have just outbraked himself, surely. I mean, we'll find out in a second, Adam, but look at the way Dantas is driving. That's got to be the way. What happened? Well, here we go. We'll find out now.
Yeah, all the drivers in front of him are stacked up, but no more than usual, so I wouldn't expect a big backup in front of him.
Let's find out exactly how it all unfolded. Oh, he's missed his braking point massively.
That's a huge mistake. Whether he was looking in his mirrors, perhaps there was another driver behind him, but that's not a small overshoot, is it? That's a big one.
It definitely isn't, and Lynn has retaken the lead from Nom just while we were looking at that footage. Look who's in 4th place, in amongst with the Spec 1 drivers. Antonio Rice, our leader in Masters, just in there getting involved as we've got Aero Nom heading up the inside to reclaim that lead. Lynn runs it in deep. Winner not following. Interesting though, I thought he would have followed Nom through there and tried to nick that place off Lynn.
Yeah, the opportunity looked like it was there, didn't it? But maybe these guys are all sort of thinking, let's just play it safe now. We're 13 minutes into the race. Pit stop strategy is going to start taking effect soon. Well, let's just get to that stage after we've seen a couple of accidents take out pretty much the bulk of the field. If you remember, we did have 15 cars in this lead train. Now it's down to 5.
Well, and interestingly as well, York Marnie has really capitalised off that. He's now up into 6th place. He looked like he was struggling like mad, and see him here. He's got a bit of a gang behind. Naselli being one of them. He's on a recovery drive himself. Hugh Simpkins is at you see him just in the background there. He's currently at 10th places so far. Just having a look down there. Samuel Dick, he's up 20 places, the biggest place gainer so far, in 20th position. A great race from the American. Of course, he started dead last, and I know he's got a little bit lucky from the instances that happen in front of him, but you've got to be there to capitalise on them. As you're going to see, I think that's, yeah, Murakami heading into the pits there. Likewise, Ray follows him in as well.
Yeah, one thing we didn't mention at the start was this pit lane. It's treacherous on entry. It's the line doesn't come up until you're almost in the box, so you've got a long lane away from the main circuit, and it's very easy to get caught out on that. You go full blast down there for a couple of seconds, and then suddenly the line's there for you. So I'm just going to watch out for any drivers having to serve penalties tonight.
So just see battles up and down the field is accustomed to. Now, interesting, last time around, fastest lap of the race went to Naselli so far. Just having a bit of a swap around up front from the lead as well, as we're in on this midfield battle, and you see them all tucking up behind each other once more. And Nom definitely asking questions of Lynn right now, by the way. He seems to be positioning his car just, you know, on the inside line, filling Lynn's mirrors to the max.
Yeah, definitely. Naselli and Marnie, they're in 6th and 7th. They're about 6 seconds off the back of this pack. They're two obviously pro drivers, very experienced. If they work together, there's no reason they couldn't close that gap in, especially if these guys are battling tonight.
So we look back from Nom. That's Winner behind us, Antonio Rice. He is in 4th place behind Winner, and then wow, Bobby West is coming along for the ride in 5th, as we see a change for the lead once more into turn 1. Nom and Lynn constantly seem to be switching positions, and Winner, do you think maybe a bit of fuel saving going on, sitting in the draft and happily letting these two just battle it out?
It's a definite possibility, isn't it? With so much draft on offer tonight, any driver who thinks about it and just sits in the wheel tracks would definitely be saving fuel. One thing we haven't mentioned yet, the Spec 2 drivers are obviously out in force after all the incidents, making up 6 or 7 of the top 15. Simpkins leading at the way, currently in 8th place, but all our pro drivers are fallen to the wayside a bit.
They have. We've lost from pro. We've lost Mirashek, Weiger, Dantas, Mayer, and Perry, with only Steve Elson left. Well, and Samuel Dick, another one of the drivers as well, running from the Spec 1 category. As we just see our leader in Spec 2, Hugh Simpkins, the Dutchman. Well, the Flying Dutchman right now, up 10 places into wave. And there's a big gap in front of him, so 3.7 seconds to Naselli and Marnie, who are locked in a duel of their own. And he's got a big queue of cars forming behind him. I would say an orderly line forming behind him, but we know from this series it is literally a split second from all kicking off.
Yeah, nothing orderly in Spec Racer Ford, is there? Just wondering, Peter Meerschaert, obviously we saw him off at the start of the race, but he did recover, and now suddenly he's 2 laps down. So has he got caught up in something else tonight? Obviously not going well for him tonight.
No, I'm not sure. Obviously he's come back out again. He has completed some more laps, as we see Bradshaw trying to get the move done. He's going to be in the slipstream, and that's going to be the move done to take that off. Hugh Simpkins to get himself up into 8th, and wow, we're going to have a freeway battle here, as Kurt Nunes says, I want a bit of this action, and trying to grab that place off Bradshaw right now, but Bradshaw defends on the inside there into the southern loop. He's going to keep hold of that place.
Yep, these guys showing you don't have to be pro to battle like the pros. Great racing from all 4 of them.
Right on board with Simpkins right now, looking at that back of that 929 machine of Adam Bradshaw just ahead of us as they come onto the brakes into Honda. Of course, where we saw that big incident on lap 3. It seems a distant memory now. Up to, wow, I don't know where that time has quite gone. 18 minutes, about 18 and a half minutes completed now. It's coming up to half race distance, and well, these two are having a right. They may be cut adrift from the group in front of them and the group behind them, but they're having a right old battle of themselves and a right old ding dong on Naselli and Marnie.
Yeah, I'm glad we've cut to them. They have actually been making inroads into the front 5, you know. We're down to 6 seconds from the lead, only 5.5 seconds off the back of someone. So they keep going at the pace they're going. I don't know if Marnie's sitting there or if he's swapping positions down the straight. These two guys are really flying.
Well, let's find out. And it's here, Marnie having to get out the accelerator a little bit there on the exit out of turn 12, but I think this answers your question, Adam. There's your Marnie getting through. There's Naselli just tucking back in, and definitely these two working together, it seems, to try and close that gap. Even more so up onto the back of West, who's in 5th place, and the rear of that lead group of cars.
Yeah, we saw another 2/10 out of Bobby West at the back of the pack there. So with another 12 laps to run, yeah, they could definitely do that once they start sniffing a slipstream. Obviously, pit strategy will come into it as well. It's a long pit lane here as well. It's long and slow, so any pit stop is going to put you right back.
Looking at the sort of pit transition time, so from when they enter the pits to when they exit it, looking at around about, on average, I'd say about 44, 45 seconds, around that sort of ballpark. Obviously, these guys, as they run it in really deep into the race, will see have that time reduced a little bit, as you see Lynn Alt. A bit interesting there. Lynn favouring the coming in from a much wider angle, whereas Nom adopting a more shallower line there in the entry through Lukey Heights and down into MG. And wow, this could even cost Nom here, because Winner looks like he's going to, well, I was going to say looks like he's going to pull alongside, as you just see Antonio Rice saying he's had enough of this action. He's exited stage left and headed to the pits. See, it's really long and slow pit lane as Nom is going to take the lead back off Lynn, and once again Winner just sitting behind these two, as well, maybe not as quite as easy as what we thought, as Lynn runs it in a bit deep there and didn't quite give that up as easily to Aeronom as what we've seen on other laps.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that Reyes come into the pits there. I thought he would have hung it out with these guys. Obviously the Masters leader, he could have quite comfortably just sat with these guys and taken it home all on his own. Now he's going to be back in the pack and hoping for some of these drivers maybe to come out, and he'll be able to draft behind them later.
You think that's maybe a bit of nerves there, Adam, just kicking in, where obviously he's, you know, got a comfortable lead in Masters and a bit worried with the cars in front of him, especially the way that Nom and Lynn are battling, that maybe a bit concerned about getting caught up in someone else's accident potentially.
Yeah, it's definitely a possible line of thought. Let's see where he's come out in the pack. He's behind Murakami now, but obviously Murakami still to pit, as are all the other drivers in the Masters category that are now ahead of him.
As we just see, well, these two, that gap is definitely tumbling, not just on the timing towers, but also visually between themselves and Bobby West. So there you go, you can see just how much time they've been taken out of one another. As Aeronom, he's exited out of this group and headed into the pits, and just keeping half an eye on the timing tower, as well as I think Winner is finally decided to take control of the race and get past Yangji Lin. There you go. No messing around from Austin Winner, and clearly feeling now is the time to really get in some quality style laps and put the pedal to the metal to get this victory away from the Estonian.
Yeah, one other thing we haven't mentioned, obviously this is quite a fuel heavy track, isn't it, here tonight? Lots of full throttle around here. The pit window's going to be a lot smaller, isn't it? They can't go as deep or pit as early to fill their tanks up.
That's a really, really valid point, isn't it? I mean, so much of this circuit is near a full throttle stroke, near full throttle, as we ride on board with Nom right now, when he's come right out into a load of traffic. So on the back, Marcus is just coming around there. That's Joshua Flores, and now he's got a tricky situation because Nelson and Jackson are engaged in a really close battle here, and it's going to be interesting to see how he tries to dispatch them. As that was, well, breathe in, everyone. I think. I think it sounded like you were, Adam. No, I certainly was.
Yep. Deep breath in. You can never be absolutely certain of what the drivers ahead of you are going to do, whether they were going to give him the space. Thankfully they did, but this is costing him. He's not in the draft here. He's being balked into the corners. Oh, as he gets a little bit of a twitch on, going round the outside there of Jackson.
This could allow, to be fair, Nelson to get past Jackson. In fact, it has. And finally, Nom is clear of them as winner. He's headed into the pit lane now. Where is Nom going to come out in relation to winner? He's got pretty much the last, well, he has got, in fact, got the very last pit box in pit row. Lynn and West have decided to carry on. Likewise, Naselli and Marnie in that, well, chasing and catching group. That gap down to around about 3.7 seconds now. As here comes winner out of the pits. Where is Nom? That is the question. And there he is. And he's definitely lost time here.
Well, he'll be carrying a lot more speed, though. I think he's going to be there as they hit the braking zone. Turn 2. Yeah, only a few car lengths between them now.
The gap is 0.8 of a second. Now, as much as the strategy has worked for winner in the sense of he's got out and he's got some gap between himself and Nom, you get the feeling that Nom probably won't be too phased by 0.8 of a second with around about quarter of an hour of racing left here at Phillip Island.
There's no problem for Aero there. He's, I think, even into just that hairpin he's taken about a car length, hasn't he? So these guys are going to be battling to the end. It'll just be interesting to see if any of the other drivers, Lynn, West, possibly even Naselli and Marnie now, they're about there. Let's see if they can make some more time in the pits and try and gap these guys. I realise also Reyes is actually in 13th place after his pit stop, isn't he? I didn't catch him on the leaderboard earlier when he came into the pits.
Here's another of our lead group in. It is Bobby West in from 2nd place. Lynn is going deep here in Australia in search of a victory. So let's see where Lynn comes out in relation to the cars that he was battling of winner and Nom, who are currently 9th and 10th. As you can see, Lynn there just heading through turn 2. Naselli and Marnie once again engaged in their battle in the background there into turn 2. Just having a little look. West is on pit exit, and I think he's going to come out behind. Battling Nom and winner. As Nom sets the new fastest lap of the race there on 42.8. He is not hanging around in search of the victory.
Yeah, we saw it from the onboard there. Winner and Nom quite a way ahead of West now, unfortunately. I don't think he's going to be featuring in our lead group battle anymore.
Well, these were down to, well, effectively 3 potentially. It's just what happens to Yangji Lin. Currently leading at the moment. Where will he come out in relation to these two, which he'll be praying surely now for those to start engaging in a battle. But we know from speaking to both drivers respectively that they know that they need to work together during, despite being opposing drivers, during certain phases of the race. And this is one of them where they'll be working together a bit to ensure that they dispatch of Lin and ensure they come out ahead of him. As well, talking about trying to get ahead, is Nunez trying to get ahead of Renders just in front of us, and we're doing a good job there as Marnie heads into the pits. Likewise, Naselli and Bradshaw as well. Lynn carries on again. Well, I'm not sure what Lynn's quite running on, but surely it's going to be borderline fumes, maybe.
He's just set his fastest lap, though. 1:43.5 on that lap, so obviously not short of pace, even if he is maybe down to his last drops of fuel.
But interestingly, though, Adam, Nom on the lap, well, it sets another new fastest lap of the race there. So it was last time around, it was 42.8, this time a 43.3, so has gone 2 tenths quicker than what Lynn did. This is going to be really, really tight when these guys come out. Just looking at the gap right now, I think Winner and Nom may well have done enough here to come out ahead of Lynn.
Yeah, it's 28.5 seconds we're tracking at now, isn't it? If we assume it was about 30 seconds for a pit stop phase, Lynn might be a little bit detached, looking more at Bobby West, or even Naselli currently in 5th behind him. Interestingly, Reyes and Naselli are now battling as well. Those two drivers very close together. Marnie, meanwhile, has lost time, has he? Came in with Naselli, has come out 4 seconds behind.
He has. Just looking at the pit stop times, that happened all around the pit stops. So Marnie was around about 4 seconds slower during around the pit stops, and it was all stationary time as our race leader Lynn is into the pits. Now, where is he gonna come out? That is the question as he heads past Paul Jackson, who's been stationary for quite a while now. Only having damage fixed, he's just heading out of pit row. As our second and third place drivers, Winner and Nom, come round turn 12, the final corner here at Phillip Island. And Lynn, he's heading out on the pit exit. I don't think this is going to be enough, Adam. He's going to be desperately trying to get up to speed. He's got Jackson ahead of him. He might get a little bit of a slipstream, but this is surely... There he goes. They fly past. Nom and Winner have made it a two-way fight now for the lead, and Lynn has lost around about 1.4 seconds despite setting some quick times and being on light fuel for that last section and running a lot deeper compared to his competitors.
Yeah, it's not as bad as I was fearing, actually. As we saw those lead two now, rounding the final corner, I thought Lynn was going to be left, seeing nothing but specks of them, but he's still in the battle, you know, a second and a half. If those two fight for this lap, he might be able to draft back in. Behind him, West, Naselli and Reyes all now a little bit detached. So it's just the front two battling for the moment. As we head back to Nunez, Renders in front of him, Sanchinelli and Love all over the back of him now.
We've got around about 9 minutes left here. Round 11 of the championship, still everything very much up for grabs. There's so many positions right now, namely this five-way battle here over that elusive right spot, you may argue. Last spot inside the top 10. Bradshaw currently occupying it. Renders, Nunez, Sanchez and Love all bumper to bumper. They'll be utilising the slipstream to get past one another, but it just looks like now Bradshaw and Renders are starting to pull out a little bit of a gap, but you say, Adam, it takes, you know, just to start battling and the whole, you know, that group starts to compress up once again.
Yeah, any sort of battling is going to slow you, take you off your ideal line, and with the draft being so heavy as well, they only have to get sort of halfway down to closing you down, and the draft will do the rest. So any battling is going to remain close tonight for the remainder of this race. These five battling over the last position in the top 10. Renders with a good drive off the final corner, shows his nose to Bradshaw, and I think he's going to claim it before they even turn into turn one.
So right on board there with Bradshaw, and you see Renders just heading up the inside to claim for now that last place inside the top 10 as he's running on a bit deep there. And that's all his hard work undone. He could even lose a few more places. No, he's just managed to get back onto the racing line. Off that momentum from Nunez, who's currently third in Masters right now. So we've left of the race as you see Renders on the attack once more against Bradshaw. Heading up the inside into Honda. That is going to put him onto the outside line though. They head through Siberia and just, well, Renders knows that he backs out of that one instantly. Wow.
Nunez gets all sideways.
That was incredibly close to contact there, and as I said, we've got just under 7 minutes remaining here at Phillip Island. Winner in the lead from Aero Nom. That's a two-way battle for victory here in round 11. Actually, Lynn is just falling off a little bit, 2 seconds behind these two. West fourth, Naselli fifth. Great recovery drive from this game. Back into fifth place. It's Nom. Wow, he pulls out right at the last second there. And tucks in instantly in front of Austin Winner. I thought he left it too late there, Adam. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that was risky driving there. I wouldn't want to recommend any kind of racing of that nature. These guys don't need to be doing that. They're out in the lead. They can work together or battle, but they don't want to be trading pain, especially at such high speeds.
Down into Honda now. Lynn just not able to quite capitalise from these two scrapping it out, although there's be a little bit more of these two working together and potentially can lead us into a last lap fight for the lead. than the win here. As starting going through the top 10, and Antonio Race, he's 6th overall, leading in Masters. Yorgmani 7th. Steve Elson, well, he's been in the wars a bit, and he's well, great drive from him to get back up into 8th place. We've got Hugh Simpkins, he's in 9th right now, and leader in Spec 2 with Bradshaw 10th place, 2nd in Masters. 3rd in Masters Motions, Kurt Nunes is currently in 12th place. As for Spec 2, 2nd and 3rd place are 14th and 15th respectively. Sancinelli and Green right now. They've got a bit of a gap between them, so they could well remain as they are, whereas this is just, I mean, right now, between Renders and Bradshaw, this is just purely about bragging rights, really. As we see, well, Renders just getting overtaken by Kurt Nunes. He's going to try and squeeze it around the outside and get the move done. A cracking move there from the American.
Yeah, these 4 or 5 drivers are our biggest battle out on the track at the moment. I think if they work together, they might have a shot at Simpkins. Simpkins very much on his own. Oh, as Renders round the outside of Nunes. Another close call as they almost traded paint, but straight back through goes Renders. And it looks like Love's going to follow him as well.
Big move there from Andrew Love in the 945. Got them both napping to carry the momentum. We got the double slipstream. Saw a gap on the outside and said, thank you very much, I'll have a bit of that. And caught them both completely napping, where Nunes and Renders were so engrossed with one another and what they were doing, trying to cover one another off, they completely didn't even realise about Love sneaking through there to get himself up into 11th place. As you see, all runs in really deep right now. Does Love, and that allows Nunes to come back through. Renders looking to reclaim that place as well off of Love. Love just taking the inside line there into Siberia and keeping hold of that position for now. Wow. This could go absolutely anyway, and I'm sure it will do.
Yeah, I think Bradshaw's just managed to pull away for a little bit from that group as well, with all that battling. He's got about 8 tenths now. He might have secured himself 10th place, not through any work of his own, with the battling of the drivers behind him. Meanwhile, we've got Weston Naselli, and then straight away Norman Winner as well. In the background, I think Naselli was making that move.
Let's take a look. We'll see him in the background. There you go, Naselli. He's in 4th place, and West really starting to turn up the pressure once more to reclaim that 4th place off of Naselli, who, let's not forget. Oh no! I guess going back to West to Steve Alson after a great recovery drive to get himself up through the field. Having to head back into the pits once more. But yeah, I mean, Naselli, let's not forget, he was down and out, pretty much locked into the midfield after that spin of his own accord. And to get the car back up into 4th place is an epic drive.
Yeah, that's a job well done for him tonight. Good recovery. He won't have been expecting a top 4 when he was facing the wrong way, looking back at the pack, will he? Especially when he got caught as well. Managed to avoid damage, luckily for him. And this is the reward for all his good work. Meanwhile, these guys, they don't let up, do they? Side by side. Once again, we've got Andrew Love and Tom Renders. Renders on the inside, looking to hold off Andrew around the outside. And I think he's just about done it. Andrew not quite with enough momentum.
Just having to back out of that one. I'm just looking at lap times. Yes, this is going to be the white flag. It's going to fly here at Phillip Island. 1 lap left to go. Who's going to come out on top? Will it be Aeronom? Will it be Austin Winner? Let's find out. Winner's in the prime position into the slipstream, into turn 1, but he's not going to be close enough as Aeronom just manages to hold off somehow, some way. But you get the feeling Winner might be just sandbagging for now to keep hold of that 2nd position. No, he can get the drive out of turn 11 and 12 and take this right to the line, right to the death in Australia. Nom is not comfortable in that 1st place, and Winner, well, you see, ensuring he is tucked up through this infield section right up behind Aero Nom. You see a little bit of a twitch from Nom there.
Yeah, I don't know what Nom can really do at this point. He's not been able to shake off Winner for the entire race, and Winner's going to have the draft as they charge to the line. Winner obviously will want to be as close as he can be to make absolutely certain he's passed by the time they do cross that line. As we see, here's the draft again, just showing us how powerful it is. We're not even on the main straight yet. And he's just going to have to follow him through these 3 corners, and he'll be in prime spot.
So head through Lukey Heights. We've got a quarter of a lap left to go. Only the 3 corners of the head round MG. Did Winner run it in a bit too deep? Let's find out. He's going to be in the slipstream. Who's going to get the best drive out of 11 and through 12 for the final time in round 11 of the championship? Can Winner claw this back right at the line? He's going to give it a good go. Nom goes defensive to the inside. Here comes Winner. Who's going to come out on top? It might be Winner. I think it's going to be Austin. Winner takes the victory by 200ths of a second here at Phillip Island in spectacular fashion.
Cecilian West did a photo repeat as well, 4th and 5th.
There's Renders. He's fallen through the order right at the depth there. We see Antonio Rice. He's going to take the victory in Masters 7th overall. A great drive from him. Kurt Nunes and Love are going to round out your podium in Masters. Simpkins has taken that 1st place in Spec 2. Sancinelli 2nd in Spec 2. 11th overall with Green. Drive from him. 13th and up 11 places. That last place on the podium in Spec 2. But let's take a look at what happened to Renders. It's all coming down into MG. From the last, oh, he had a big send at the inside of Bradshaw. Contact between the pair of them. Oh, that further contact. And Bradshaw, the innocent party there.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see just how far alongside he was there. He obviously came initially from a long way back, but I thought he had a good overlap by the time they reached the apex.
Well, it was... We knew it'd be tight right down to the line here in Australia, and yeah, again, this series has not failed to deliver. What's been, I'm not too sure where the last 40 minutes have gone. It's gone by in a blink of an eye. The drivers now will all just congregate to begin their perennial, traditional demolition derby, as we always have here in the SRF Weekend Warriors. There's wait for the last few drivers to come across the line, then we'll be able to bring you up some classified results here from Phillip Island. Oh wow, what a... I mean, I wasn't sure whether Austin Winner had done enough there, Adam, but clearly he was, he had just enough 200ths of a second at the line.
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit odd from the copter cam that we were watching that he decided to flick across the entire length of the entire width of the circuit there. And I thought he'd have stuck close to Nom as they came to the line, but maybe he didn't want to give Nom the side draft back.
Let's take you through
see the final result.
There you go. So confirms Austin Winner is your victor here, with Nom in 2nd place. Going to say it again, 300ths of a second at the line. Yang Jilin claims last place on the podium. And Celia, great recovery drive from him. He looked, I was just saying earlier, down and out after that spin into Honda. Comes home with 4th in the end. Bobby West, good result for him in 5th. Yorgmani 6th. Antonio Rice 7th overall. Winner in Masters. Luke Simpkins is behind him in, well, I say just behind him. Bit of a gap time-wise, but 8th place. And your winner in Spec 2 with Kurt Nunes and Andrew Love 9th and 10th, and running at your podium in Masters. Sancinelli 11th and 2nd in Spec 2. Bradshaw 12th and Jason Green 13th, and that last podium place in Spec 2. Murakami, this bloke in his winning duck there, comes home 5th in class, 14th overall. Thomas Renders, obviously after that incident, comes home 15th. Elson 16th, with Nelson and Batley taking you up to 18th. And McCain and Samuel Dick, and well, what a drive from Dick, up 20 places in the end to get himself into 21 places, get himself into 19th. Nick Carty 20th, Stevie Ray 21st with Cantor, Gibson, Walbolt, Vaccaro, McCain last in 26th, the last driver to finish on the lead lap, with Andalo And Kern 1 lap down. Likewise was Jackson and Lopez as well. Sean Mognon, we lost him 3 laps ago. Trespedini 6 laps ago in 33rd possession. Flores retired on lap 16 with Butenga and Mirashek retiring on lap 6. Mateus Weiger, we lost him on lap 5, and likewise same for Dantas and Mayer, and Jason Perry unfortunately didn't manage to get past the first lap here. And wow, let's have a chat with our winner overall. It's winner by name, winner by nature here in Australia. Austin, welcome along to the commentary booth. Congratulations, and well, I mean, it was one of the tightest of margins, but a win's a win.
Yeah, thank you. I want to say, I'm not the fastest racer here. It's just a symptom of Phillip Island. So Arrow is probably upset. I was second coming out of last turn, and there's nothing he can do with the draft on these cars. So I was just lucky to get by him or be in that position at the end.
Was it deliberate coming into those final stages that you deliberately kept your car in second place to ensure you had that drive and that slipstream coming out of the final corner?
Yeah, absolutely. So we undercut pretty far. Well, Arrow did a lap earlier than I did, so then I went ahead and did it too. And then we were working together to try to build a gap to anybody else who was running a longer pit stop. And came out, we had like 2.5 seconds, and we just kept building it. And then I was the first one to kind of balk at that and stayed behind him instead of passing him on the front stretch and working together. And I'm sure he's upset with me or whatever, but that's the nature of Phillip Island. It's unfortunate for him.
It is indeed. It's the nature of the beast, and wow, we've got obviously the season finale at the Charlotte Roval. I mean, obviously, being American home track, surely you've got to have a bit of confidence, especially with the victory here today, heading into that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're doing the new version or the old version. So the new version has a few chicanes to break it up. Otherwise, the old version's just a bigger draft fest than this is. So it'll be another strategy game. It's almost like running ovals. You aren't racing the track, you're racing the drivers. So we'll do with it what it is and have fun regardless. So
definitely. And before we let you go, anyone you want to give a shout out to at all?
Yeah, thanks Stevie Ray putting together this great league every week. It's a great community. Apex Racing, love you guys for putting this together every week and broadcasting it. It's always fun to go back and watch the replays afterwards. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay, that is your winner here from round 11. Austin, winner with the victory at Phillip Island. Well, Adam, lined up for yourself. It's his first victory in Spec 2 and finished 8th overall, up to some 10 positions. Hugh Simpkins joins us right now.
Hi. Juice, welcome to the box. That's obviously been a great race for you, up 10 places. Do you want to take us through your highlights?
Well, I'm really surprised to finish this high up. I had good pace all weekend, all practice and qualifying, but there was still a few faster out there. But I was able to hook on, and they luckily got into some melee and crashed out or spun out, so that gave me the opportunity. And further on, there were no big mistakes from my part, so I'm lucky to be here now.
Yeah, you spent most of that race in amongst it, didn't you? We've seen your onboards, a couple of taps and bumps and cars spinning around you. Were you worried for yourself at any point?
Well, there was the hairpin twice that I missed a bit, and I had a little touch from behind with Kurt, I think, in turn 5 or 6. But there was no real damage done there, and it was just before my pit stop, so I could take my free repair. And from there on, it was smooth sailing.
And how was your pit strategy tonight? We mentioned it in the box. It's a very fast entry into the pit lane, and then you come out with cars really firing down at you at top speed. Is it a little bit hairy for you?
Well, I was lucky that I had a bit of air in front of me and on the back of me after my pit stop. So I took it really easy after I left the pit after my pit stop, and I was able to keep sort of a gap of 2.5 seconds with people closing in on me. So that was okay.
Next week it's our final round of this particular season, round 12 at Charlotte Roval. What are you hoping for next week?
Well, no real hopes. I just joined in this race since 2 seasons, I believe, and I'm preparing me for the next season. And first time back at the Weekend Warriors with a win in the amateur class is really a really satisfying result, I can tell you.
Congratulations tonight, Juice. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you race again next week.
Thank you, Adam, and see you around.
Yes, you Simkers there with his first victory in Spec 2 and finished 8th overall up some 10 places. And lined up finally for you, Adam. It's our other victor here today, now joined by Antonio Rice.
Welcome, Antonio. Oh, Antonio, can you hear us?
There we are. I think maybe having a couple of technical difficulties. Our winner in Masters. We'll see if we can come back to him shortly before we round things out here.
Can you listen? I'm sorry, my microphone was off. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I can hear you, but my mic was off. Sorry about that.
That's okay. And yes, for yourself though, Adam.
Yeah, well done tonight, Antonio. We've been sick of talking to Chris, so we're glad to see you winning in the Masters tonight.
Thank you.
How was it from your point of view?
Was good. It was good. It was a good race. I was on the Discord with Chris, Murakami, and George Mani and Michael. So kind of they helping me talking and relaxing. So kind of a group of people, very nice. Then kind of when Chris asked me to pass at that certain time, we lost the contact with the front guys, and he asked me to go ahead to try to catch those guys, Austin and Aeronom. And then I don't know, something happened with Chris, and then I catch them, and then I think I did a mistake pitting earlier and should wait. But anyway, it's what it is.
Yeah, it was quite a big accident that we saw, taking out about 4 drivers down at the turn 4 hairpin. Did you see a lot of that in your mirrors?
No, not at all. I was focused on the front.
And then, yeah, you mentioned it just then. You pitted early. We did theorise maybe you'd done that to protect your victory in the Masters. Just get out of the back and forth battling with the other drivers.
Actually, I was trying to make an undercut because I saw Mani and some other guy approaching, gaining on us, and then I was thinking they will catch us with more few laps, and then I tried to do the impossible mission, and yeah, I shouldn't stop before. Anyway, it was my wrong decision.
Well, we like to hear the ambitious drivers tend to win the races, as you've done tonight. Next week we're at Charlotte Roval. Any expectations for that tonight?
Oh no, there is a track that I have no expectations at all. Just try to stay safe and not crash, and that's the main point for me on that track.
Great driving tonight, Antonio. Before you leave us, if you'd like to shout out to anyone.
Yeah, for Steve Ray for organizing all of this nice series, and for you guys broadcasting. As Austin said, I say the same. It's always nice to watch the replay after. And for the participants of the races and for everyone watching, and for the sponsors, yeah, of course. Yeah, and yeah, thank you all.
That's Antonio Rice, your winner here today in the Masters category. And let's just coming up on the channel. Well, this being the first of the quadruple header here on a Sunday evening. Well, depending on what part of the world, even into a Monday morning for yourself at Apex Racing TV. Coming up in around about 15 minutes time on the channel, it's the IGP Fun F3 League. as they head to Virginia International Raceway. That's one to tune in for. I'm sure that's going to be plenty of exciting action for them. And then coming up at 1:10 GMT is the XSLR Championship as they head across into the Lotus 79 road section of the championship. That's definitely going to be an interesting one to watch out for. And then coming up at 2 AM GMT is the Colorado Karting Tour. They had to Barber Motorsport Park. That's be an interesting one to watch out for. And then tomorrow night at 8 PM GMT is the ARL Mazda Cup from the Red Bull Ring, with Tuesday being the Ritmatech Classic Spring Series from Mid-Ohio. And then on Wednesday at 7:45, we've got the Sim Racers World IMSA Winter Series Round 6 from Sebring. So make sure you tune in for those. Of course, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell for notifications when we go live with all our broadcasts here at Apex Racing TV. Well, what can we say? It's been another exciting evening of drama and close finishes once again. Only 0.03 of a second at the line between Austin Winner and Aeronom. It's just another average day in the SRF Weekend Warriors. From myself, Tim Cox, Adam Hadfield and Jonathan Grabowski, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in a week's time as we head to the Charlotte Roval.